Hey, what's going on? Zach D Productions here, and I am here for a movie review for you guys. So, for this review, I will be reviewing The Matrix Resurrections. As you can see, I have it on DVD here, and I actually have all the Matrix films on DVD, plus, I have them all on Blu ray. I have the Deja Vu collection, so yeah, definitely a big fan of these films for sure. Now, keep in mind, I never grew up with the Matrix films. Like, I never watched them back in the 90s and the early 2000s, back when the original trilogy first came out. You know, because obviously I was really young then, and these movies were given an R rating for whatever reason. Like, that's something that kind of confuses me. Like, I never really understood why these movies received an R rating. Like, it's not like they're like the John Wick films where they're like really violent and brutal or whatever. I'm not really sure. I mean, there's some F bombs being dropped maybe, but you know, and some violence, you know, some blood and violence and stuff like that, but it's not as extreme as, you know, most movies that are given an R rating, you could say. And I probably wouldn't have had that much interest in these films when I was younger either, so there you go. But I want to talk about Resurrections because I do feel like that this movie is kind of overlooked, and recently I did decide to give it a second chance. Because the first time I watched this movie, I will admit I did have some mixed thoughts on it. It was kind of a mixed bag for me. I wasn't really sure what to think of it, you know, with The Matrix actually being like a movie within the movie, you could say, you know, when they're actually showing the events of the first Matrix in this movie. And I'm just like, it's something that really confused me. And I was like, what are they doing here? You know, like, but you know what? After watching this a second time, I actually do appreciate this movie now. And I feel like that's the case with a lot of movies that you watch is, you know, sometimes you do have to watch movies more than once in order to appreciate them more, you could say. Now, yes, there are cases where, you know, when you watch a movie a second time, there are cases where you actually like the movie less. The Eternals, for example. The first time I saw that movie, I was not, I didn't think it was that bad. I thought it was actually really good. And then the second time I saw it, it was kind of a snooze fest for me, if I'm being honest. So there are cases like that for sure where it's the opposite, but in this case, I've actually grown to appreciate this movie more. Why? Because it's basically a modern take on The Matrix. I mean, this is basically The Matrix made in today's time, and that's exactly what this is. And you know, some people might see that as a bad thing, but there are some things about that aspect that I do appreciate. Now, I know that this movie did get mixed reviews as well. Like, I know that there's people that say it's the worst of the Matrix films. For me, I think it's a step up from Revolutions. Revolutions, I still think, is the weakest. The first two films are definitely the best. I mean, I've done a ranking before of the Matrix films on the channel, but I mean, just for the sake of you not going to search for that video, I'll just tell you my ranking. I mean, I would definitely have Revolutions last as the weakest, and then Resurrections, and then Reloaded, and then the first film. The first film I definitely think is the best of all the Matrix films. Definitely a classic. But yeah, I do appreciate this film now for many reasons, though. Like, I especially dig the action. I think the action is really well made. Definitely is something that definitely gets overlooked. And also, Keanu Reeves' performance, I thought, was really good in this movie. Now, I know that there are some people that say that, I guess Keanu should have had short hair in this movie because of, I guess, consistency reasons. Because he had short hair in the original trilogy. But you have to keep in mind that this took place years after the original trilogy, I think. So, I mean, it makes sense for his character to look a little different, you know? It makes sense. Like, it's not like something that bothers me that much, because I know that this movie is kind of considered John Wick and The Matrix, but whatever. Now, you could crap on the plot of this film all you want. You could say that the plot is confusing, but, you know, it definitely has its memorable moments for sure, you know. Basically, Neo is in a coffee shop, and, you know, he sees Trinity. He remembers who Trinity is, but she doesn't even remember who he is, but she's, I guess, kind of familiar. She has sort of a different name as well, and he works in an office as well, and basically crap hits the fan from that point on. And I do dig the action sequences in this movie for sure. I mean, the stuff with the train scene I thought was really cool. Visually, I thought it was really neat to look at. And, you know, the combat fighting scenes, really epic, I'd say, including the ending, which I thought was really cool when they're on the motorcycle and everything that's going on then, I thought was really cool. I definitely enjoyed a lot of those scenes. And yeah, Keanu Reeves definitely giving it his all, I'd say. Once again, I really do dig his performance in this movie. And in my opinion, I don't think that there is such thing as a bad movie with Keanu Reeves. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. He's definitely a great actor, and he seems like a great guy as well. And, you know, if one of these days I'm blessed enough to be, you know, a big-time filmmaker like I've always wanted, you know, if I get to make really big budget films like this, like films that are as big as The Matrix, you know, I would love to work with Keanu Reeves one of these days. I mean, I personally would love to cast him as Blake Thompson in some Italian sniper film. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I think he would make a great, like, older version of Blake Thompson or something. I think that would be really neat. But yeah, either way, great actor, and his performance in this movie definitely really good. Again, this is basically a modern take on The Matrix, and I do appreciate it for that. Again, has some good action. Now, once again, you could bash the story all you want, you know, but there are other things that you gotta think about here, and you really gotta give credit where credit is due. I mean, the skills, the filmmaking, and everything, the performance from all the characters, it's all really good here. So, yeah, obviously not the best Matrix film. I don't think it comes anywhere near the first two films. I do think it's a step up from Revolutions for sure. And are we going to ever get another Matrix film? That is a very good question because, well, this movie came out years after the original trilogy, so anything is possible. I mean, if we do get another Matrix film, hopefully we won't have to wait another 20 years or so. You know, now, is another Matrix film necessary? Not really, but if it happens, I'd be okay with that, especially since how appreciative I was with this film. But I guess anything's possible. But I heard something that this is probably going to be the last Matrix film, but again, anything is possible. Who really knows at this point? But Resurrections, I thought it was pretty good. You know, again, I especially dig the action sequences in this movie. The scenes were really cool. Even the villain, I mean, he was kind of intriguing, so there is that as well, you know. So let me know what you guys think. Do you guys feel the same way I feel about Matrix Resurrections? Do you guys think it's also kind of overlooked? Do you think the mixed reviews are a little unfair? Do you think that more people should give this movie another chance? For me, if I were to give this movie a score, I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10. Like I said, I don't think it's the best of the Matrix films. The first two are definitely the best, but that's just my opinion, though. I've actually met some people who say that this is their second favorite Matrix film, which is definitely interesting. But either way, let me know what you think of The Matrix Resurrections. I personally think it's a good one. I mean, you can beg to differ all you want, but I actually pretty much enjoyed it the second time I saw it, so there you go. So that's my review. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.